my colleague, Kateho, who is standing by. Kateho, how are things going on there?
A very good evening. Well, as this historic day continues throughout South Africa, we have been crisscrossing large parts of the Mopani district, which is where we are, which boasts about 614 voting stations. Currently, we are in the pristine town of Tzaneen, and now we are at Laer School Tzaneen, where I must say people have still been trickling in to come and cast their votes. I'm going to ask my cameraman to show our viewers. These are some of the eligible voters that have registered at Laer School Tzaneen that are here to cast their vote today. The station itself has registered well over 2,100 eligible voters that are here essentially to cast their votes. We've been crisscrossing other parts of the Mopani district where essentially we've been getting the sentiment from voters themselves about how they feel about the day. Many have expressed that they are quite excited to be exercising their rights. Well, currently the queues are still moving rather steady. Earlier on, we spoke to the presiding officer here who mentioned that hourly they process about 100 voters. We've been to other parts of the Mopani district, including Letsitele, which is a farming community. Now there the challenge remained that a majority of farm workers were not able to necessarily cast their votes. From the information we received on the ground, many of the farm workers did not fill the Section 24A form that will allow them eligibility to vote in voting stations near their places of work. Many mentioning to us that they were not able to get the funds to afford transport fare to areas where they reside, which is where they have registered. Another area that we visited was Giyani, where we of course know that there is that plight regarding water emanating from the Giyani bulk water project that majority of the community members spoke about. We also visited other areas including Jopi village in the Nwamita precinct, as well as other areas like Dzumeri.
And Kateho, I'd like to go back to something that you just said as well. I mean, farm workers not being able to cast their votes. Does this also speak to the issues around voter education? Did they know that they were supposed to complete this Section 24 forms, or what are they saying happened?
Precisely. For example, the station where I'm currently reporting from at Laer School Tzaneen, earlier on we did meet a number of farm workers who work around this area. Now they wanted to come to Laer School Tzaneen to come and cast their votes. However, they were turned back. They say to me they were not informed about the filling in of this form, which will allow them and guarantee them eligibility to come and cast their votes at stations that are closer to them. However, they felt so dissatisfied, and disgruntled that they were not able to cast their votes. Also, one of the presiding officers whom we spoke to at Letsitele voting station, which had registered 235 voters, say farm workers had been coming in large numbers wanting to vote. However, they had to turn them back due to this issue. So it certainly does speak to the issue of voter education.
And of course, Kateho, then just as a final question, let's speak about, there's a number of areas that you talk about, some of the service delivery issues in that particular province, and especially because we see some issues around water, we see issues with roads and all of that. But I wonder for the residents where you are at Laer School Tzaneen, what are they telling you they're hoping their vote changes?
Well, the issues are mostly similar. The majority of residents that we interacted with mentioned the issue mainly of water. They also mentioned the issue of jobs, saying that the creation of jobs mainly affecting the youth is quite fundamental for them, and they would like to see that happening, especially after the 29th of May, after today. They would like to see the incoming government really address the issue of water as well as unemployment. Now, just to mention also also some statistics. The area where we are currently has about more than 195,000 eligible voters. This is the greater Tzaneen area, and other areas including the greater Letaba as well as the greater Giyani area are also around the similar figures. But essentially the majority of the problem and concerns that we've seen are service delivery as well as jobs.
All right, Kata Khonyoli, thank you so much for that update there, and it'll be interesting to hear what challenges are being presented in some of these farming areas where farm workers are not being able to vote and also not having critical information at hand. That's Kata Khonyoli there, our reporter coming to us live from Large School Tzaneen in Limpopo.